The following video is intended for adult collectors. This is not a kid's toy channel. When it comes to LEGO Bionicle, I don't really dabble in it very much. However, if you've been a long-time viewer of the channel, you would know that I've built some LEGO Bionicle figures in the past. For the longest time, the scale that I built at was about 5-inch scale figures. However, as the years went on, my characters slowly got bigger and bigger. Things have changed since then. I've switched setups, I rebooted my channel, I replaced Earthrise Optimus with 86 Optimus, and now my creativity is a lot more advanced, and I've kind of shifted to the larger scale figures. Let's move to my work table so I can show them off a little better. Yes, I have a double table setup now. Fun fact, this is actually the same table that I used to do all my reviews on. However, I've kind of adjusted my setup now. As I was saying, more recently I've also been collecting more and more secondhand Bionicle, the guy on the far right being one of those. And I've been getting more and more inspired to do more Bionicle related stuff. I've been kind of educating myself a little more on how the system works, and I've been kind of moving away from just doing system, because for the longest time I just built with basic bricks. And I also own all of the construction figures that LEGO has made so far, including the Hulkbuster, which is part of my background setup. Anyways, it's now time that I talk about these characters. You probably recognize this guy. This is Motormaster. I've shown him off on the channel a long time ago. But these characters are part of a group called the Four Quarters. It's basically this elite team of like specialists that are trained to control and manage situations and stuff. I'm still working out the kinks of the story. It's a fairly recent story that I've come up with. I'll probably do more videos talking about the Four Quarters, but these are just the members of it. I think I'll start off here with Motormaster, and I've already talked about him on my channel, so I probably won't go into too much detail about him. However, he has changed a lot since my original showcasing of them. He was one of my first ever showcases I ever did on the channel. The first thing I ever shown off of one of my own creations was this guy. He was the first one to ever appear on camera. And so this guy has a lot of history on my channel. And because of that, he is a very, very personal favorite of mine. And he's also probably one of my favorite Bionicle design characters. My original fan fiction for this guy, because he is a Transformers character, was that in the live action movies, he kind of got killed off during the third movie. However, I've changed my continuity to be that he goes into hiding after the third movie, and eventually he becomes this. But as you can see, I've bulked him up a lot more. He's got a lot more on him. He can still combine with all the other characters if you've seen those videos. I will link one of the videos in the description if you want to see it. But he still can combine. You do have to remove some things, but he can combine. All of these accessories can be removed, and probably my favorite part has to be this kind of bag right here that holds both his gun and his staff. They kind of both stack up neatly like that on the side. And you can actually put the staff back on after removing the gun. And then this like knife gun thing can connect on the other bag right here. So you can swap, mix, match all of his different weapons, and he has all sorts of different weapons. I will do a more in-depth video on this guy and the Stunticons because I still have them after all these years. They still exist. But one new addition to him that I've added is this little bit right here. This kind of marks his quarter. As you can see, he's the green quarter. And I will get into more depth on the Four Quarters in a second video. But as you can see, this kind of just marks that he is one of the Four Quarters. It's just kind of like their main emblem that they use. Next character we have here is Dog Park. And he is a character that's actually existed for a while. Matter of fact, I think I first created him almost 2 years ago. This character has existed for a while. I just haven't shown him off. His main aesthetic is supposed to be almost garbage and scrap. As you can see, his emblem is the yellow quarter. He's got one on both his upper leg and his upper arm. He is the yellow quarter. Coming in for a bit of a closer look, I think one of his defining features is his dog-like face. And actually, one original idea I had for him is that he would have multiple different heads that he would switch between, and the dog face would just be one of them. However, eventually, I just the dog face grew on me and that's just his main head. And I'd also like to think that he has nothing to do with dogs. He's not actually a dog. He just looks like one. Another main feature has to be his left arm, which is kind of more Bionicle than system on this side. This is kind of the whole idea of him being made of trash and like nothing fits together and it's all kind of just thrown together. And on his back, he actually has, if you notice, he's got this gun here, which can be removed and put into his right hand like this. And the gun is kind of his main weapon. I like to think of him as almost a slightly insane character that is often killing a lot and has like a lot of weird quirks about his personality that makes him like a likable character to be around, despite killing a lot. Probably one of the tallest characters I've built. I do have some that do kind of reach a little taller, but he is surprisingly tall for what he is. He sits at about a foot tall. Next character we have here is Pacemaker, and she has probably become one of my favorite characters I've ever made. First thing off is that this is probably one of the first female characters I've ever made. A lot of my characters are robots, and robots don't really have genders, so they all kind of naturally become kind of masculine. My main inspiration for this character was this kind of curved piece right here. I'd seen someone use it as a thigh piece in another build, and I was like, you know what? That looks cool. I want to do that. And if you're wondering about the name Pacemaker, it's actually two reasons. One, it's a dirty joke. And two, as you can see, her leg down here is like kind of robotic looking. Closer look at this leg. As you can see, it's kind of glowing with this orange aesthetic. I'd like to think that these are like thrusters and stuff, and like it's designed to like give like powerful kicks, and so she has like certain attacks and moves that she does to kind of kick somebody and kill them like almost instantaneously, like an insta kill. And also she has this kind of smaller kind of knife on the side of her hand. For the quarter emblem that she has, one is down on her leg, and then I have another two on each thigh. And as you see, this thigh, I use this sticker piece is from a Venom set, and I like to think that her leg is like almost corroded or like has been poisoned, which is why she has the prosthetic or something. I still have yet to think of a proper reason. And probably one of the reasons why this is one of my favorite characters is how articulated I managed to get this character. I mean, this is the only character I've ever built that's able to do like a full arm bend. Like that is a pretty sharp angle right there. I'm not very proud of the kind of waist area because the legs are kind of limited. They can only go about that high, and that's just barely straight out. And when you do that, you have this like weird flap here that kind of gets in the way and kind of looks ugly. However, she does have like an ab crunch, stuff like that. Not a lot of my characters have ab crunches. Altogether, this is a really nice design for me, and I do want to do a more full video on her because I have a lot more accessories and stuff for her. And the final member of the four quarters here, we have Overheat. And this is the only character that's actually based off an original Bionicle design. As you can see, his base here is built out of a character I don't remember the name of. However, a more interesting fact that kind of caught me off guard when I first built him was that this is the same Bionicle character that a YouTuber I follow called Ben Kazi. This is like his kind of mascot character, so I was building it. Something felt off about his face, and I was like, I feel like I've seen that before. And then I realized that that was like his mascot character, so I was like, oh, that's Ben Kazi. I've kind of revamped the character into my own thing. When I got it, he had 3 blue limbs, which the character's not supposed to have, and 1 silver limb, which the character was supposed to have all silver limbs. And so he kind of had like this one arm that was different from all the others, so I kind of decided to roll with it. So as you can see here, we have this gigantic kind of flamethrower, flaming like gun thing. And like, it's like, as you can see, it's his defining feature. And as you can see, there is his quarter logo. As you can see, he's the blue quarter. This giant gun piece can be removed. And as you can see, it's got all sorts of flames. There's a giant flame blasting out the back. I'd like to think that it is a very powerful gun with like a lot of power energy, and like whenever it blasts, there's like a lot of exhaust that like kind of at the back. In the back, he's kind of got these like wing things. I like to think that these are like almost stabilizers for the gun because it's so powerful when it shoots. There's like so much recoil that if you didn't have like these kind of wing thrusters in the back, like you'd fly back. But I like to think of him as more of the comic relief of the four, kind of the more goofier of the team, and he's always kind of bringing the jokes. And I'd also like to think that he is kind of close friends with Dog Park, and like they're kind of buddies, and like we're the like original two quarters or something, or like before all four of the quarters met, they were like the first two or something. And I feel like it was almost like a happy accident because like I didn't deliberately choose for all of his limbs to be blue and then that one limb to be gray. Like that was literally just how I bought him at like the flea market I was at. And so I did kind of spruce him up a bit, and now he is Overheat. Altogether, I feel like they do make a pretty cool team, and I like how I've kind of repurposed Motormaster into kind of his own story. This is only part one. I do have more to talk about these characters and kind of extended characters that associate with them. I will also probably be making a video on Motormaster and the Stunticons, kind of revisiting them, and also a video on Pacemaker because she deserves her own video. She's got so much to talk about. This has been another video on the Mr. Tile 7 channel. Make sure that you like and subscribe so you can join the cult of the brick. I am the Brick 17, signing off. Goodbye, everybody.